We probably have the lowest mortality rates for any of the high-end procedures that the world really boasts of, and at the same time, at costs that the world has never imagined them to be. See, our vision is what? Our vision is to try and make healthcare more accessible and affordable. Quality is anyway central to everything that we do. So gone are the days where you have patients walking into a hospital only when they had trouble, okay, or they have a problem. Today we see more and more patients walking into a hospital to get their entire checks done much ahead of any onset of a disease or a problem. The amount of data that are collected from the scanners is humongous, is much more than probably what a movie on a Netflix would do.
Welcome to Leadership Lessons from HT Smartcast, where we bring you conversations with leaders shaping the future of industries and society. I'm your host, Anil Machado. India is now firmly on the MedTech map among the top 20 global markets, yet still navigating challenges of accessibility, affordability, and quality. At the heart of this transformation is GE Healthcare and its strong commitment to Make in India. Joining me today is Raghavendra Rao, Business Head of Imaging at Wipro GE Healthcare South Asia, with extensive leadership experience across South Asia in markets including India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Nepal. Rao is a proven growth leader. He has expertise in strategy, P&L management, market development, and partnerships, with a strong track record of driving innovation and building high-performing teams in the healthcare imaging space. Together, we'll explore India's MedTech journey, GE's healthcare role in shaping it, and the future of healthcare in the country. Welcome to the show, Rao. Really
Hi,
happy
Anil.
to have you.
Same here, Anil.
I love the energy. Really happy to have you. Now, I'm going to jump in straight into the India context. Okay, we are the top 20 medtech markets globally, and yet we continue to face gaps in accessibility, affordability, and quality. Rao, what do you see are India's one biggest strengths in driving medtech growth, and what is the critical gaps that need to be addressed to unlock this full potential?
Okay. Hey, thanks, Anil. A couple of things before we, dive into talking about the strengths. I think, it's important to realize the opportunity that India as such has for what the world needs, right? Fundamentally, there are two important things that, we can pride ourselves in specific to healthcare. One is the human resource strength that we have. We have probably the largest strength of students in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is a crucial component for healthcare manufacturing, right? The second most important thing is, the number of products or solutions that this market needs is so wide and vast that, anybody getting into this space has a lot more to offer to the population at large. Right. So this is a sizable opportunity for the world to leverage. And having said that, the strengths are also intertwined in this particular opportunity, right? The gaps that exist is not really a gap, but I would say our path to the entitlement of providing healthcare that people will realize as an opportunity that they have got to their expectations. Right now, the path for us to get there are multiple. One, as you have rightly said, is how affordable can our solutions be, and does it reach everyone in the country who are widely spread across the entire geography. So these are two fundamental core generic issues that exist. Beyond that, there are gaps around, not gaps, probably improvement areas around regulatory and government initiatives, to catapult us to the next milestone, right? So, those are few things that I would see. One, great opportunity that the world can leverage India for. Two, India as such as an opportunity has so much more to offer to our patients at large. And, GE Healthcare and Wipro GE Healthcare being at the epicenter of this transformation provides a great opportunity for us to, make the best of both.
So in a way, us being the largest population in the world has
Yeah.
helped this entire
Yes,
thing.
there is a dividend capital that's definitely a tailwind for us, but that's that's while that's an opportunity. But the most important thing is we are at the cusp of making the healthcare in this market be the role model for developed markets, right? Let me put that in a little bit of a perspective for us. We probably have started from an out-of-pocket economy when it comes to healthcare, to now slowly transforming to an insurance-backed healthcare system. Correct. There were days, when the insurance in our country was near zero, but today it's close to about 30-35%. Right, that's sizable. During this transformation, what has changed, and what we have shown to the world, is how frugal we can be in terms of healthcare delivery, both technology and delivery, both put together, without compromising on the quality that the patients need in terms of care. Right, we probably have the lowest mortality rates, for any of the high-end procedures that the world really boasts of in this country. And at the same time, at costs that the world has never imagined them to be, right? So that's the real piece of role modeling that we as a geography have done, and this world will continue. This market will continue on that path to ensure that we make the most of this, because as more and more affordable healthcare reaches population at large, without compromise to quality, both in terms of technology and in terms of delivery, you will find this transforming quite quickly and fast.
So I would like to use the words here of previously we were reactive and now we're extremely proactive.
Yes. See, I think the Indian healthcare stakeholders have done a great job in leveraging the ecosystem for what we need to do for our country, right? So there are multiple things. One, there is a big opportunity that the healthcare stakeholders see, both the manufacturers, the healthcare providers, and of course the government is intertwined in this. Two, you have good government initiatives that are coming our way to ensure there is more and more impetus for local manufacturing, right? Thereby making affordable product and affordable solutions a reality. True. Right? Now, when all these things come together and you have an ecosystem that's trying to leverage, you have great things that happen for the healthcare delivery in general, which is what currently the entire stakeholder team is working towards to maximize, and hence it's more proactive, and it's also a segue for the population which by and large looked at healthcare as more an illness-related, segment to something like a wellness-related segment. So that transformation is also on the way.
You've removed fear.
We have completely, no, I wouldn't say completely removed, but we have started to make a change to the way patients have started looking at healthcare in general, right? You approach a hospital or you go to a doctor when you have a problem, but today you in general walk into a hospital to feel good that you are doing well, or you are much ahead of any disease onset.
True.
So that your further treatment and course of actions can be that much more easier and softer on yourself.
And so much in advance.
So much in advance, yes.
With the entire thing. So
with the entire thing.
With we have looked at the opportunities and we've opened out this entire the entire context. Now when I'm opening out the context, and you've been here for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
First, I'd like to dive into the brand journey.
Yeah.
Okay, the first companies to embrace Make in India, for of course India and the world. Can you walk us through this company journey and how Wipro GE Healthcare has kind of helped transform India into a global innovation hub?
Okay. So Anil, there are a couple of points that you will have to, before, I embark on sharing the journey of Wipro GE. The needs of our country are very unique, right? You have people widely spread across our geography with not much of accessibility to metro locations or towns, right? So they can't reach. first and foremost. You do also have situations, I mean, little bit of a rewind to what India looked 30 years
Yeah, and it's
back.
important. It's important
Yeah,
to put that context
right.
in.
And you had locations which probably did not have any electricity in
Yes.
the day,
No access to roads.
no access to roads, poor electricity,
Yeah.
right? Poor infrastructure, and in that kind of a scenario, Wipro GE Healthcare, looked at what this country would need, right? Both in terms of products and in terms of solutions, so that we could start making a big difference to healthcare in general from a technology standpoint. See, our vision is what? Our vision is to try and make healthcare more accessible and affordable. Quality is anyway central to everything that we do, right? When we are trying to look at these two dimensions very closely as a way to improve healthcare in the country, uh, you have to make solutions that are that much more what you call central to the challenges, and at the same time providing a solution that would be more long term in nature. So just to give you an example, you need a basic ultrasound scanner in any hospital, in any clinic, any polyclinic, or a nursing home, right? But at the same time, you would need it across departments. You need it in specialty
Yes.
A, B, C, and
Emergency,
D.
and
Emergency,
yes.
obstetrics, cardiac, multiple of those things, right? And it's difficult to have a very bulky equipment that is difficult to transport between the premises. At the same time, you also need the equipment to work on basic power that's available in any remote location, right?
Especially with the power fluctuations.
Power fluctuations and all of that. So, we were the first ones to have designed an ultrasound back then, which was completely designed, developed out of our Bangalore facility here in Whitefield, which was easily transportable to within the departments, within hospitals, any location, and even carryable by, a doctor to another clinic, right? And still was capable of working on basic power, single phase power that is available in any place, okay? So the innovation that we did was, solving for multiple of these challenges. And there are examples like this, that I can share with you. And hence, when we looked at this opportunity, it was important for us to design solutions that would actually take these local infrastructure challenges into mind when we build solutions and products, right? So we have been more local than any other local company. While we do have two big giants of Wipro and GE come together to form this organization, Wipro GE, we have been much more local, not because of our sheer presence, but because of how we design products and how we have made solutions that reached masses and made a difference to healthcare in general, right? So to sum it up, we have created products and solutions that are that much more relevant to the Indian population, both in terms of infrastructure and in terms of solutioning and in terms of usage patterns that are very unique to the population here.
Now, you just spoke about the factory that you have in Whitefield,
Yeah.
and of course, in 2022, you spoke about, and you put it out there that 8,000 crores is what you are investing in the field of manufacturing, taking this entire thing forward.
Yeah.
I'd definitely love for you to talk about this.
Okay, so Anil, it's like this. As I have started my conversation about the opportunity that this country has in general for the world to offer is immense. More than we solve for our own problems and challenges that exist, but we also become a solution provider to the world. Now, for us to really harness that, there is a lot more that we need to do for this particular market and for our organization. And in that direction, the 8,000 crore investment that we have done addresses multiple of those requirements. One, enables us to fast track product development and manufacturing in the country. Two, it also provides a segue for us to make research and development that much more intertwined, more than ever. It's not that it was not the case previously. It was definitely the case previously, but the need today is so high, and gaining more importance, that we need to have this fast tracked and intertwined with what we do from a product and a manufacturing standpoint, so that the solutions that we bring to the market, and the opportunity that India as such can have to the world as another big alternative for any other region that exists today, as a MedTech innovation hub, is that much more important. Wow. And realistic, right? And hence, the 8,000 crore investment that we have done is in the direction to harness all of these opportunities that exist today with us.
Oh, that's humongous.
Yes, in many ways, you solve for manufacturing, you solve for product development, you solve for research, and you bring all of that together. To ensure that the customers here have the best of everything that they would need, solving for their challenges, and at the same time putting their work ahead, and at the cusp of being recognized as great innovation in their respective fields, is that much more a realistic opportunity that everyone is working towards. I'm quite excited that we are at the front and center, and leading the journey in that.
The first people to start the journey.
First people to start, and we are in front and center and leading our journey to make a huge difference to the markets here and the global markets as well.
I mean, it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
It looks very tiny, but the work that has gone in for the last over close 30 years.
30 years.
Is humongous.
Just to put this in perspective, I think in the last 30 years, the amount of investments that we have done probably accumulate to close to about $4 billion. But the amount of investment that we have done in the last couple of years, for the next few years, is itself 25% of what we have done in the last many years. So that should give you a view to the magnitude of opportunity that we are going after, and the potential that we have to provide a solution to the challenges that exist here with the healthcare providers, is that much more felt and palpable.
Yeah, I mean, 8,000 crores is close to 960 million.
Close to $1 billion, depending upon the effect.
Yeah.
Depending upon the currencies,
correct. The up and down, so it's close to $1 billion, and you've just put that in 2022. So
correct.
that's huge. That's huge. So that's one portion of it. And now we jump from the investments, that entire journey, to going into the product. Now imaging, of course, is central to healthcare. I'd like to call it the heart.
Correct.
And what y'all have done in that particular space. And today it moves from at one point in time when you were just looking at an image and saying, okay, here is the issue. It moves into preventive care. It moves into early diagnosis, which helps us in a way better way than what was done in the past. What do you see? How do you see this evolving, and the particular direction that y'all are moving to, and how different are y'all going to be? Because now everyone's also jumping into the bandwagon.
Sure. See, a couple of things, Anil. All of us, were used to going to the doctor and getting treated first, and then, going to a diagnostic tests later on after the treatment. In the last couple of years, that has gone through a transformation. People today get a test done before they approach a doctor. But, the next level, stage of transformation that we are experiencing is moving from an illness, backed healthcare to a wellness-backed healthcare, right? So gone are the days where you have patients walking into a hospital only when they had trouble, okay, or they have a problem. Today we see more and more patients walking into a hospital to get their entire checks done much ahead of any onset of a disease or a problem, right? That to us is a big change, and that has a great impact on what we do at imaging. Right. Now, in healthcare, most of what we do is within the imaging space, right? And diagnostic centers, hospitals, and anybody in the healthcare space depend quite a lot on these equipments, for their healthcare delivery, be it the X-ray equipment, CT, MR, PET scanners, whatever. They are very central to their healthcare delivery. And this transformation is helping us maximize what we have to do for the opportunity that exists. So let me kind of give you a little bit of view to how this is changing, and it's at an intersection of both manufacturing and what we have to do for this particular market. You would probably recall during COVID time, the two tests that were popularly used were the pathology tests
Yes.
and then the CT scan test that people were going after. Now, having the facility here to manufacture and being the pioneer in technology on imaging equipment, we were able to provide solutions of a value CT scanner for patients to adopt, for healthcare providers to adopt and address the patient needs. The manufacturing facility being here provided the necessary strength from a supply chain standpoint. We were not constrained by the supply chain issues that existed globally, because that was the time.
Yeah.
And what we have been able to do as a difference for healthcare at large in this market during that time is probably the cornerstone for what we need to be doing subsequently for many years to come, which is be supply chain resilient, make more manufacturing in India, ensure that the products that you make are innovative, and at the same time also solve for the needs in the global markets. Right.
You've got tremendous data also that
Yeah.
you've now collected. So you've got the hardware, you've got the software, you've got the data.
Yeah.
How is that kind of?
So for imaging, it's more about products
Yeah.
and innovation, and then back that up with manufacturing and research. Right. All of that go hand in hand. And you cannot look at imaging as just one piece of the product development or manufacturing of that. It needs to be together of all of that. Now, to your point about how are we managing data, and see, AI is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right. And there's not a single organization that's not really working on artificial intelligence. This not only is improving productivity, but is also providing great insights for everyone in every sphere of the market and the business. And healthcare is not really different from rest. But what puts healthcare ahead of others are two things. The amount of data that are collected from the scanners is humongous, is much more than probably what a movie on a Netflix would do. Right. Now, when you kind of look at that kind of a data and you try and curate the data to provide insights, both for decision making as well as for productivity, there is that much more responsibility on us to develop solutions or applications that would help clinicians make faster decisions and decisions that help make healthcare outcomes better. Right. Now, it will not be out of place to let you know that by far we have the highest number of FDA approved artificial intelligence applications in the industry. You may wonder why this is important. Now, it's important that when you look at artificial intelligence, and I've spoken about the ability of the scanners to deal with data and transform that into insights and decision making and productivity measures. It's also important that you understand that there's a great deal of trust with which healthcare delivery happens in every market. Right. People depend upon what the doctor says. People don't depend on what Google or what an AI tells you. Right. But when you actually look at that kind of a situation, it's important that there is an element of confidence that the clinician can derive out of working with an organization which provides applications and products that are not only approved by global regulatory organizations, but they also come with a stamp of quality and what you call certainty for better healthcare outcomes. Right. And hence what we do in AI is extremely important for this particular market, and we have the right approvals in place, and we also have the right set of tools to make clinicians get most out of these applications in their healthcare delivery.
So, one key thing that comes to my mind, Rao, is, and exactly what you said. Okay, I remember clear point. A close friend of mine who was a very senior radiologist used to do a lot of work from Bangalore into Assam by looking at, and recently I'd looked at, I'd gone to a particular village for some work, and not village, a town, small town, and a technician there looking at the entire X-ray and having his entire solution. So exactly, you kind of joined, what was done by radiologists, doctors at one point of time, and even though an X-ray was taken out and a certain image was taken out, you had to go back running there for that, and you have now bridged that gap in such a huge manner with the data that you'll have.
Correct.
That's
So Anil, it's like this. So for you to understand, why this is important. We in India, you have a real estate crunch, space crunch. Let me put it, space crunch within a hospital, right? You have multiple departments that you have, the stakeholders have to take care of, and that's one piece of the challenge. The second piece of challenge is, once you have acquired a big scanner, an MRI or a CT scanner, these are typically located in the basement of a hospital or in the basement of a diagnostic center. So, once they are in, it's very difficult to pull them out. Right? And the typical Indian or, any market, view is that, healthcare equipment have higher longevity in terms of number of years. Right? Now, having said that, what does that, make a healthcare provider do? It's both an opportunity and a challenge that we will have to solve for. The challenge is people can't, change equipments quite often, right? People have to wait for a few years to pass by.
12 to 15 years at least.
Depends. It can, depending upon the equipment, it can vary anywhere between 3 years to about 6-7 years, or 10 years. So, you have to ensure that, you provide a solution that takes care of that kind of a mindset. But at the same time, you have the technology that it is at the state of the art in terms of technology and the current state that of applications that the clinicians would need. And thirdly, are these scanners adopting AI to ensure that the ability of healthcare physician or clinician is actually being complemented with these applications, right? So what we have done is over the past many years, we have reduced the footprint of these scanners so that you save on space. And I have started the conversation by letting you know that we do have infrastructure challenges. Power is a big issue. So you can't create scanners that guzzle power, need 100 kilowatts, 200 kilowatts kind of power. It's very difficult to commission those products. So we have reduced the need of power for these products by nearly 30-35%. Right? And thirdly, most importantly, we have created scalable solutions that would make any scanner that you buy today come back to the latest generation current variant in that particular category through upgrade opportunities and coupled with artificial intelligence, so that the clinician has the opportunity to drive productive solutions and at the same time also make outcomes of healthcare much better from their own perspective, right? So, and this connecting, all our conversation, this is an outcome of our journey for the last 30 years. It's an outcome of how we have developed strength here, both in terms of product development, manufacturing, software engineering, and research. So now this kind of gives you a complete view of how our journey has been over the last couple of years and why we do what here is that much more important and relevant for this market, and also a role model for other markets to emulate. When we understand the patient challenges and our healthcare stakeholder challenges better, our ability to design products that are more relevant is that much more realistic, right? Secondly, when you create products that do have relevance to global markets as well. It provides an opportunity for us to even export these products outside the country. So today we probably are one of the largest exporters of imaging products, by far probably the highest among the entire healthcare organizations that exist in the country. Right now, when you look at the magnitude of the opportunity and the work that we do, it puts the journey that we have done that much more meaningful, both for ourselves and for the stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem.
And of course the end user.
And the end user for sure. I mean, they are part and parcel of the stakeholder group that we work with.
You kind of join the dots. So now
Yes.
I'm going to move from imaging to transformation.
Yeah.
Okay, now of course, and we said ecosystem. Now healthcare transformation needs a very strong ecosystem.
Yeah.
How are you all leveraging partnerships? Of course, A, with the government, B, with the entire institutions and the institutions, and of course the industry.
Yeah.
A, to accelerate innovation, and that's something that we're going to look at, to improve access to precision care in India first, and of course then the world.
It's difficult for Wipro GE as a single entity to solve for every challenge that exists in the market, and at the same time to maximize on every opportunity that exists. It needs multiple stakeholders to come together. Government, academia, and some of these large healthcare chains do play a significant role in improving the healthcare in this particular market and country. Right. So let me explain this for you a little bit. If it was not for government, PLI schemes, we wouldn't probably have had the fast pace, that we are today experiencing in, the manufacturing of products. Okay. We definitely are, on the journey to make more manufacturing happen in the region. But the product-linked incentive scheme that the government has launched definitely fast-tracked our initiative in this direction. Secondly, for us to be developing products and solutions that are more relevant and more at the cutting edge of the technology, we need more expertise, to come into those product developments and solution developments. For that, our leverage exists with some of these marquee institutions like IASC, TMH, and AIMS. I've just named a few. We work with few others as well. And with all these organizations, our partnerships have been in the areas of artificial intelligence, product development, and care pathway evidence generation. Right now, with Tata Memorial, which is at the front and center of providing cutting edge oncology care. We do have a partnership going with them for developing solutions that would improve oncology care in this country. Right. Similarly, AIMS. We spoke about data. The amount of data that comes out of AIMS with the kind of patient footfalls that they have, provides a great opportunity for us to use that data and provide an artificial intelligence hub. So we have set aside, committed $1 million of investment to work with AIMS to ensure how we can develop artificial intelligence solutions. And similarly with Indian Institute of Science, which is right here in Bangalore.
And has a beautiful campus.
Beautiful campus, by far the largest, and our partnership with IASC dates back to many years. So we are leveraging their expertise to see how we can develop more products that are relevant for our market and for even the global market. So it's not possible for us to do what we are currently doing by working in isolation. I think there's a great deal of collaboration that needs to happen between some of these healthcare chains, marquee institutions, research institutions, and academia. And I'm quite happy that the investments that we have done so far are in the right direction, and we are quite gung-ho about what we can harness from those partnerships and investments.
The partnership, I think, the key thing, brings in a lot of trust.
Yes.
And it enables patients to say, okay, there is trust in this entire thing.
Entire thing. Yeah, you are right.
Yeah,
and makes that much more relevant for this market. Right. You won't probably create a solution that solves for a problem that exists many miles outside of the country, you would probably think of solving problems that are existing here before we try and do something outside,
abroad.
something outside.
So from, of course, trust, transformation to vision.
Yeah.
What is GE Wipro's healthcare's vision for the future of healthcare in India? Okay, how are you going to, of course, then address, making it extremely accessible, and of course keeping that quality up there, which is something that you'll have put a stamp.
Sure. I think you have kind of touched many of those points, Anil, already. So our overall goal remains creating a world where healthcare has no limits, right? Now, this particular vision statement, encompasses multiple things in it. One, you will have to develop solutions that would harness the capability that exists in artificial intelligence. Two, you need to develop products and solutions that would also make precision medicine and precision healthcare a reality, right? Third, we will have to solve for accessibility and affordability, right? Beyond becoming relevant, which we are already, it's more important that you show to the world and to the markets here that by combining all these four dimensions, you make healthcare that much more worthy enough for patients to transform from illness to wellness journey like this. So, to put it simply, I think our vision is to ensure that people see the gap between what exists today to what in their mind is an entitlement is narrowed as quickly as possible, both in terms of technology, in terms of healthcare outcomes, and in terms of the overall corporate business milestones of what we do for this particular country in terms of business outcomes as well.
No, I love the three words, I to W, which is illness to wellness.
Illness to wellness,
and
yes.
That particular stamp. Now, so we've looked at the business side. Now I'm going to look at a slightly different side of you, because I need you in this entire thing.
Sure.
First is leadership. You're leading the largest department. The ups and downs of being a leader. 20 years here. Something that's kind of that you love, that has triggered you. That's something that I want to hear, and of course the viewers and listeners would definitely want to jump into that.
Sure. So, Anil, I started off like any other, graduate out of school. I got hired by Wipro GE through a campus selection, and I've joined the leadership program, and ever since there's been no turning back. Right. The journey is filled with multiple, I wouldn't say ups and downs, multiple phases of learning and transformations. But it's very early on that I realized there is a core connection between what we do as an organization to what I innately believe healthcare has as an opportunity, right? Healthcare is such a profession that every one of us go through at different points in time. We would have seen our relatives, our close kith and kin, go through family, about the way healthcare has helped people either, cross a particular milestone or, probably stop ahead of,
diagnose.
Any treatment or diagnosis, right? I have seen many of our relatives not making it, because, they couldn't reach a particular center well in time, or, they didn't know the risk factors that led them to an outcome that was probably abrupt in their life journey. Now that to me is the core purpose that excites me day in and day out. While I am a business head for imaging business, every time we enable a hospital or a clinic or a diagnostic center with some of our equipments, what we really solve for is population in that particular geography getting a chance for great healthcare facility experience and diagnostics, right? Business is incidental for sure, but what we are really solving is how many more patients can we enable a quality healthcare which is accessible and at the same time not tough on their expenses. Right. So that is something that excites me and my team day in and day out, and So it's kind of now become a little bit of I would say, a very nice constructive cycle that keeps all of us motivated to doing our best every day.
So responsibility to solve a particular issue for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
is what I'd like to.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to jump into a completely lighter side before we end. Favorite movie?
So I don't have favorite movies.
Okay.
I keep watching quite a few of them.
Okay.
But I like this movie a long time back. I forget the name, but it's done by Will Smith.
Okay.
In Search of Happiness, or
Oh, yeah,
In Pursuit of
Happiness.
In Pursuit of
Beautiful.
Happiness.
Okay.
Right. You keep at it. Continue to look for opportunities to solve a challenge.
The discipline. he brings it, yes.
And never lose hope. Stay optimistic. Do the right thing, and success will come to you at some point in time. And that particular movie also connects the BMD machine that we manufacture.
Oh, okay.
So the big box that you find Will
carrying
Smith carrying
yes,
along
yes.
is basically a BMD.
Wow.
And he spends years to sell one,
Yeah.
and once he sells, he continues to succeed one after
There's
the
a
other.
connection.
There's a connection, but I think the core takeaway is never lose sight of what you have to solve for. Stay optimistic.
Okay.
And do the right things, and things would follow.
All right. So movies to music, Bollywood or international? What is?
It's all Bollywood.
It's all Bollywood.
It's all Bollywood and a
okay.
little bit of a party night kind of movies.
Wow. Okay. You like some thumping music?
Some thumping music
All
and
right.
just wind down.
Nice. Okay. So music, Bollywood, sports.
Sports, I used to be a great, cricket buff.
Okay.
But off late, the deluge of those matches that you get to watch today
It's changed.
has changed significantly. The format, the frequency at which I basically enjoy reading, cricket rather than watching nowadays.
Okay. And last book that you've read?
So I used to read books, but today I like reading more of articles.
Okay.
So I'm more focused on reading articles in journals and in press.
Shorter, tighter.
Shorter, crisp, and get to the point.
Key point and out. Yeah.
Key point, and then move on. But that's what it is.
Oh. Rao, I must say, I've learned so much. I've enjoyed this entire conversation. I hope you have the journey is fantastic.
Yeah.
The journey is fantastic, both sides, from the organization point of view to a personal side of view. I love how you brought in Pursuit of Happiness and how you relate to the entire thing, and how the entire device that he carries is something that, you're kind of, the entire team and the company has kind of led those many years ago.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your insights on how MedTech is, of course, shaping India's journey. It's inspiring, of course, to see localization, innovation, collaboration, and how this, of course, is helping India leapfrog into a healthier future. To our listeners, thank you for tuning into Leadership Lessons. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this episode with your network. I'm Anil Machado. This has been another conversation that proves leadership is not just about adapting to change, it's about creating it. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.